Welcome to another episode of the Creatorwood Podcast. Today we have a very special guest in Maggie Beeler, who is the creator of this incredible product called Trope Tales. So Trope Tales is a cocktail book for readers. Essentially, it's a cocktail book all about trope-inspired cocktails. Very, very cool. But the recipe book is just the beginning. Maggie actually has created a cocktail mix drink brand, traditionally a powder mix. And actually, using that powder mix, you can make the cocktails that she raps about in her book. So in this podcast interview, I'm going to be talking to Maggie all about how she did, how she actually made her own powder mix brand. And what's really cool is she was actually the first episode ever that I did of the Beyond the Book podcast. The Beyond the Book podcast has morphed into the Creatorwood podcast, which we are super grateful to have you all here in the Creatorwood podcast. So really, Beyond the Book and this conversation with Maggie got all of this started. Like, Creatorwood wouldn't be here if I didn't start asking the question on how can we turn our stories into more than just books? How can we take our stories into things beyond the page, beyond the book, as we say, into movies, film, games, and even drink mixes? Of course, Creatorwood's here to help you turn your story into a film with AI. It's an amazing platform. I hope you join it. You can get the link in the description to join below. We have a streaming platform where you can even host your shows and movies, have direct relationship to your fans, keep apes in your revenue, and we're going to be on TV soon, which is super special. And then a movie machine, you can literally just upload your book. We turn it into a script, storyboard, full characters, all their voices and more. It's truly magical. And what's happening in self-publishing books, where it got accessible for anyone to now publish, is happening in film. We hope you join us inside. But with all that said, this podcast can be really special. I hope you enjoy it. And what you'll find is that Maggie is actually running a Kickstarter now. And you can actually support and back her Kickstarter so that she can get her first huge shipment of powders in for Tropetails. So you can support the Kickstarter down below. And with that said, I'm going to see y'all soon at the end of the podcast. Welcome to a very special episode of the Beyond the Book podcast. And why this is very special? Because I'm here with my amazing friend Maggie, who was our first guest ever on the Beyond the Book podcast. You were actually there as Beyond the Book was birthed, which was very wild. Because of Scott Walker, I had a call with him and he mentioned the words like, I think you help authors go beyond the book. And then we started talking about it and about what you could do beyond the book with Tropetails. We're going to talk all about. But this weekend, we had our little Beyond the Book retreat at the Barbie house. How did you like it?
It was great. Very inspiring experience to be around a bunch of authors who are going to such great lengths to grow their brands.
And you're one of those authors.
Yes.
In fact, you are the world's first author to launch a CPG brand, which for those who don't know what CPG stands for, it's consumer packaged goods. And what is these packaged goods that you have developed?
I launched my first line of instant powder drink mixes based on different book genres for my Trope Tales brand.
By the way, love the shirt. You gotta show the bottom. It says, "We get Bookworms buzzed." It's great. What a great tagline.
That's what we do.
Cocktail drink mixes. Crazy. Tell me about the what, the why, the how, all of it. You've just successfully funded your Kickstarter.
I did.
So it's funded successfully. It's happening.
Yes, it's happening. It's happening 100%. I'm going to have 1,500 units of powder in my 700 square foot apartment very soon.
Will it take up your apartment?
It probably will be the entire apartment. I have to actually think about the logistics of that soon. I don't know. Figure it out. It's like the thing. Authors, you're going to figure it out. That when it happens.
Yeah. How do you make this? Like, you're not just like cooking up drink mix powders in your house. Like, what even precipitated the idea? Because like when we talk about Beyond the Book, right? It's about how can you turn your stories and IP into something that readers can buy and experience beyond just the book. There's obviously movies and shows with things like Creatorwood. There's translations. There's different media formats like games. There's merch. There's physical products. But what I love about what you're doing is it's something that people can come back and buy again and again.
Yeah.
But it's not easy to make something like that. So how did you land on this idea and how did you start actually developing it?
I was like, where can I go with this brand? Sure, I can make like different iterations of the book, which I've done and have done well. But then you have the problem of people buy a book one time and then never again, unless they're buying it for a gift. So that kind of happens sometimes, but it's not
Do we have
entirely.
a copy of your book here just to show people?
Yeah, I do. Should I grab it?
Yeah,
Obviously,
grab it. Ooh, Trope Tales.
So I've created different iterations of the book, which has been fun, but theoretically, people buy a book one time and move on. So this is actually the holiday edition of the book, which has been fun. And it's something I just wanted to do for kicks and giggles for the holiday season and just see how well they sell. But the problem with the books is there's no sort of repeatability, and the average order value is only theoretically for most authors pretty low. So I was talking with Michael back in January, and it's like, where can this brand go beyond just like having a book? And at that time, my customers were saying, like, the cocktail books are great, but buying all these different ingredients to make just one cocktail one time is just not the best. Unless you have a wet bar in your house, you're not going to be like buying bazillions of ingredients to make a specialty cocktail. We spoke and it was like instant powder drink mixes. Or at first it was like instant drinks, like some sort of like liquid form. And it was like running into the issues of like shipping liquid and that stuff. So settled on the powder mixes. And yeah, I went headfirst into figuring out how to make that happen. Completely new industry, had to learn all about what, like, how do you even make a powder mix? I don't know. At the time I didn't know, but I know now. So that was like where I was in January. Then obviously today I have launched the Kickstarter for it. So I have a manufacturer. I had formulated 3 unique flavors for the brand, hired a designer to create the packaging design, contracted a packaging company overseas to make the packaging. The actual powder itself was made in the country. And then, yeah, put together a Kickstarter campaign and launched it. This is important. We talk a lot about like validating product ideas. I put up a ghost listing for the powders on my website, ran a couple ads to them, got a couple sales at higher dollar pricing because I was just curious like what people would pay for these things, and they were selling. So turned off the ads, went full speed into the Kickstarter, and I'm using that to fund my initial print run of the powders for 1,500 units. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
And that was why 1,500 units?
Yeah, so that's actually the MOQ. Most manufacturers, minimum order quantity, have like an MOQ for production. If you're a smaller company, they can sometimes try and work with you to like lower that MOQ, but yeah, that's what my manufacturer had. So 1,500 total because I have 3 flavors.
And how much is that costing?
It's like a little under or around like $5 a bag with the cost of the powder and then the cost of the packaging.
So that's, doing my math here, $7,500.
About, yeah. When I did it, it was around like 6,000.
Okay, so it's more like $4 each bag.
Yeah, it's like it's under 5.
Under 5.
I think it was like 440.
Okay, so that's, yeah. So first of all, it makes sense to be doing a Kickstarter of that, because if you need 6K just to get off the ground, really,
Yeah.
you validated that there was something there,
Yeah,
through the ads, but you don't want to necessarily be spending that much money on ads to get you that much amount in sales
Right.
without, yeah, it doesn't make sense. You need to go do a Kickstarter. When you actually were working with manufacturers,
yeah.
I wouldn't know even where to begin to try and find someone who could make me a drink mix. So
Yeah.
how did you go about that process?
Honestly, just started searching online for like powder mix manufacturers, and like initially way back then, it's crazy to think about because I almost forget about this right now. I was reaching out to all these manufacturers. I put a little like proposition text together and was sending it out along lines. Hey, I'm an author. I have this like cocktail line of books, and I'm looking to get a powder mix made for my brand. I want to do 50 initial flavors at the time. That's what I was asking for, which was crazy. And yeah, I was
50 initial flavors.
Literally reached out to them and just said that. And I had a lot of like interesting calls with like different manufacturers. A lot of them were not good fits. A lot of them had like incredibly high like price premiums to like formulate flavors. And I even ended up going like pretty far with one manufacturer that ended up not working out because they weren't like entirely in love with the idea that I was running a Kickstarter, which I was like, okay, whatever. But yeah, I talked to a bunch of different manufacturers, just literally like searching emailing. I probably emailed about like 50 to 60 different manufacturers to set up meetings with them. And that all happened in the month of February. It's just like back-to-back calls with manufacturers, trying to understand like the industry more. I was pretty upfront with them that I literally had no idea what I was doing, which I think actually helped my case a little bit because I don't know. I feel like honesty is always the best policy. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. This is new to me. Can you help me understand like the industry? Because it is very interesting to make a product that's not a book. You have to find a manufacturer. You have to find someone who's going to work within your constraints. And I ended up finding a manufacturer that was really great to work with. They sent me a couple rounds of samples for the formula that I wanted and did some iterations and then ended up happy with the final round, and I'm going forward with that. It feels overwhelming at first because you have no idea what the heck you're doing. Like, you're just like, I want to do this, but how do I get it? Honest to God, when people ask you how, I'm just like, just start looking online. It's really not as complicated as it seems. Like, you can literally make anything. Also, Alibaba is a great resource for manufacturers too. You don't even have to reach out to people on there. You could just post a listing and say, this is exactly what I want. And then manufacturers will contact you. So that's what I did for my bags. Because I was like, there's like a bazillion bag manufacturers. I don't really care about the bag as much because it's like the container of the product that people are actually consuming. So there's not much variation in terms of like bags. So it's like, that didn't matter as much to me. So I posted a listing on Alibaba and then had a bunch of people reach out to me with quotes. Always have samples. They sent samples. And then, so it's really actually like quite straightforward to do. So anyone can do it. It's just, you have to get on the ball and start doing it.
Yeah. So here's the steps I'm hearing. One is pick a product that you want to do beyond the book.
Yep.
And in your case, you picked a drink mix because one, literally your book is Trope Tales.
Yes.
And two, a drink mix as opposed to an actual drink.
Yes.
Because it's just way less complicated with regulations and shipping and all these things.
Yeah.
Pretty much all around. It's just simpler. So you thought, what is the simplest version of the way I can go beyond the book?
Yeah.
I guess, and maybe one day you will start your own like wine or cocktail mix, like actual cocktail band, or you can start a bar. Who knows? But that's all way more complicated.
Yes.
But that is the simplest version of it.
Correct.
That can solve the problem of how do we get bookworms buzzed?
Path of least resistance. And also like listening in on what people are saying. Because it's no one explicitly told me, other than like we were having a conversation about it, but no one explicitly was like, do a drink mix. It was like, I want more accessibility to fun drinks. I don't necessarily love alcohol in all my drinks. I don't want to have inventory powder mixes. It solves all of those problems. And that's what my audience was implicitly asking for, isn't it?
Implicitly because, they're buying a book that is about making bookish cocktails. So the whole thing is, it's like the classic do-it-yourself, done for you or done with you. Like you could do it yourself and read the Trope Tales book and then make the cocktails.
Yes.
You could do it with you, which you could hire Maggie to actually teach you a class how to make bookish cocktails. Or you can have it done for you where you just pay for it, shipped to your house. So essentially you're already solving the same problem, just in a slightly different way. Someone who wants it done for them or done with them. And you have to think about like the journey or psychological problem. A lot of your stories solve because now step one was figuring out the product. Step two then is
taking action.
Is researching to then find the manufacturer.
Yeah, pretty much. Pick the product, research the product, and then start reaching out to people.
And then how did you nail down on, so it makes sense to me that 50 flavors would be hard. But why did you do 3 flavors versus 1? And then why did you do the 3 flavors you did? Because there's clearly lots of different options.
So I ended up, my book is split into different sections based on genres. And when I was talking to them about the 50 different flavors, that's when the MOQ conversation came up. It was like 50 flavors would be about like just like a bazillion units, like 50 times 500, like it's like 25,000 units or more, 250,000. I don't know, math on the
25,000.
Yeah, that's like math on the spot for Maggie. But it just became abundantly clear to me that was probably not something that I would be able to do like logistically right now. Most companies actually don't initially launch with 50 flavors. They build up to it. So I'll just do flagship 3 flavors to hit 3 different popular cocktails, quote unquote, because each one is based off like a drink that you could have with a certain liquor if you choose to add it in there. And since my book was split into different genres, that kind of just felt like in my head, I was like, okay, so we're not going to do 50 different tropes. There's like about 5 or 6 different genres in my book. Let's just start with 3. And I picked like the 3 top selling genres on the market right now, which is fantasy, romance, and horror. So I went with those. And initially I was
There's the fantasy, romance, and horror.
Horror is my favorite genre. I'm like, it's top in my heart.
Horror is your favorite genre, yet you are scared to even go into a haunted house.
Correct. Yes. I'm a big baby. I will not go into a haunted house.
I did not know horror was your favorite genre because I knew you were scared to go into haunted houses.
I like horror and thriller. So it was a big toss up between horror and thriller. But for me,
horror I feel like has a little bit more. Yeah. You can have more fun.
When I was launching them in the fall, I was going to launch them a little bit earlier than I ended up launching them. So I was like, okay, this is perfect for Halloween. But now it's looking like this will be perfect for Valentine's Day because it's romance. So there's an interesting thought process.
Wow. Okay, so I see how it all came to be. But I still so you talked to manufacturers. They okay, Maggie, we'll make 1,500 of these things, but these mixes for this amount of money.
Exactly.
Then how does this work? Who has the rights to this? Do they have the rights to the product? Do you have the rights to the product? Is it joint rights? Who owns this?
It's joint rights. Yeah, they own the flavor, but I own the IP of the flavor, if that makes sense.
They own the formulation, you own the branding?
Yeah, because it's like I didn't want any liability in case like someone were to get sick. I don't want any liability. So in order for that to happen, they have to own it. I can't have the ownership of it or else I'm liable for if someone gets sick.
Oh, interesting.
And like as a smaller company, I don't. They have a lot of like brand power.
Is this what happens? Meaning, is this common for brands to do what you're doing as far as in terms of not actually taking on the risk themselves? Because I'm thinking to myself, part of me, I'm like, that makes sense. But is the formula itself valuable to your enterprise value in the long run? Could this be damaging your business?
It will be valuable. But right now, starting out, I want to reduce the risk as much as possible, personally. That's like what I thought was the best idea. But obviously there's room for negotiation down the line of, hey, I want to own this. I'm going to take all responsibility.
Who has more leverage as time goes on, you think? 4x revenue is what a business would be valued at. So if you make $1 million or so a year, you might be valued at $4 million. This is $1 million top line, not $1 million profit. So $1 million top line. But I'm just trying to think like a business that doesn't own the formula. Is it worth 30% less, 40% less? Like how big does this problem become to you? Is this because $1 million is not crazy to think. $1 million, how many of these mixes would you need to sell to make $1 million revenue?
Selling them at 30.
So you need to sell 30,000.
Yeah.
If the average customer purchases 3 in a year, you need 10,000 customers. That's not too far based.
Yeah.
So if you're making $1 million a year, you have a business worth $4 million. What does that make up on the EV?
Yes.
And then in terms of leverage standpoint, is it easy for you to swap out formulas and move to someone else because a similar formula doesn't matter?
Yeah.
Or is the formula itself actually a really important part of the product? Like the Coke formula is clearly very important.
I would say at this point, it's almost the brand is more valuable than the formula.
I would be curious to see, do you know how other companies in the space who have scale similar to you?
There's only a few. There's like Craft Mix, Batch, and Packs are like the 3 main ones. But I don't think Batchwell is in operation still. Craft Mix dominates the market, and they do all the manufacturing in-house. They started in kitchen and went into their own manufacturing plant.
Fascinating. Wow. Okay, so then obviously 1,500 is a lot to order.
Yes.
Have you, at this point, like, how does like samples work? Can you get samples? I remember when I published my first book, like I got the author copy. And it was the best feeling.
Yes.
Is there like an author copy equivalent for drink mixes?
Yeah, so I got like initial samples from my manufacturer when I was formulating it. They sent me about a pound of each flavor, which I'm still working through. It lasts a while. And then they actually ended up sending a half a pound more of each flavor recently because I'm sponsoring a fantasy party with my drinks. So they've actually been great to work with, but it's because of the relationship I built with them early on. There was a period of time where I was talking to their like sales rep like every other day. It's like trying to understand. Like I sent them about 20 questions or more in the beginning when I was trying to understand more about like how to work with them, which I have the document and I don't remember many of them because that was back in February. But I had this whole like document list of questions to ask, and he was super helpful, like guiding me through each of them and explaining.
With us.
Yeah, I will.
Us.
Yeah, I definitely still have it. It's in the drive.
Let's put it in the description of this podcast. You send it
Yes.
to me, and we'll put it in the description.
Yeah, I will.
And then if it's not in the description, y'all can get mad at Maggie.
Yes, I will send it. It will be good. There's a lot of questions about. They're very specific to the powder industry, though. But I think they would also be applicable to other stuff, like asking questions like these to manufacturers for other stuff.
So you got the samples, and did you like them the first go around or no?
I liked the strawberry lavender one for sure. I definitely made some iterations on the coconut mango and cherry orange because I didn't feel that the flavors were as potent as they should be. But other than that, everything was pretty good. They did a great job. Strawberry lavender was the top tier one though, and that's actually, it goes back and forth between that and the coconut mango for people's favorites. So
I love it. That's great. Did you get anyone else to try it with you?
what do you mean?
The samples.
Oh, like initially?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually did. I live in Cincinnati, Ohio, which is a huge like CPG city. So they have a bunch of pretty much like trade shows, but for CPG products. So they basically allow you to table at this event, put out samples of your product, and then retailers from around the area and like Kroger and Meyer and all the big names were there too. Target, they all come around and like sample everyone's products, and they can like wholesale them on the spot. And I, at the time, obviously, this was back in like April, so I didn't have the physical like bags, like the nice designs, and I still don't yet. So I'm looking very much forward to that. But I emailed the person in charge of the event just on a limb. It was like a couple days before the event, actually, because I hadn't heard of it before. And then I saw an ad, whatever. I reached out, always reach out. You never know if people will say yes. And I was like, hey, I'm like, I don't have any formal packaging. I don't even like really have the product yet, but I have these samples and I'd love to see if it's a possibility for me to set up a table and just get feedback on them. Like, I'm not really trying to sell them yet, but I would love to get feedback on them. And the person who was running it responded and was basically like, yeah, like we'll let you pop up a table at the happy hour and just like sample them. Like you don't even have to pay for a table because you don't really have the product yet. Like just come in and sample them.
Wow.
Yeah, so then I got to be a part of this like huge CPG like sampling event, and it was really fun. Made a lot of connections with like retailers in the area, and then got some like feedback from people that weren't like obviously friends and family. So that was super helpful.
If there's anything I've learned from you, Maggie, it's that amazing things can happen in life if you just ask.
Yes, just ask. Honest to God, like I'm always like, if they say no, like nothing changes for me. So it's like you might as well ask, and then they could say yes. And most of the time, like if you're pretty honest, like I said, being honest about your situation, hey, I'm new, I'm really trying to break into this space. Is there any way I could participate in this? Or is there any way like we could talk about this? Whatever. People are generally very open to helping other people, I found. Yes. You make people feel important. That's number one step.
Lowering your own status to raise their own
Yes.
is like psychologically does a lot.
Because then they feel like they're helping you and then they feel good. But it's also like a win-win for everyone because they are growing their vendor count and I get to get some feedback on my samples.
And what was the feedback?
It was great. I brought all the flavors. I made like a little like mock-up like wholesale sheet that I was giving out to retailers too. At the time I just threw it together. I had no idea what I was doing, but I got a lot of really good feedback on it too. And yeah, it was great. People were super nice, and I definitely have some contacts from that I'll be reaching out to when I get the actual samples. So a couple stores in downtown Cincinnati are really excited to carry these. So that definitely felt really nice.
Now, where do you see this going? You have 3 flavors that are coming out. You have this Kickstarter. How are you going to be selling it and marketing it beyond Kickstarter?
Yep.
And is there going to be more products in this Trope Tales universe?
Yeah, so after the Kickstarter, I will be putting them up on my online store. I actually have a couple people who've reached out to me about using them for book boxes. I have a horror book box that actually wants 1,000 sample units. So I'm like, yeah, this is like crazy actually. For 1,000 of them, yes, I'll do that. And I'm charging like $5 a sample, and they're getting back to me on that. So fingers crossed on the quote I gave them. But yeah, so I have a book box that's already reached out to me about them to put into their box. So if anyone has a book box, I'm always open to talking. And yeah, so I'll do that. I'll hit the retail space hard. I'll be obviously selling them at my book signings, running ads to them. And yeah, just trying to get them all over. So I ran the Kickstarter for them, and I actually put a tier on there for whoever backed it gets to help me formulate the next flavor in the Trope Tales family. And someone backed it. So yes, there will be more flavors.
I love it.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself like in your future beyond the book? Do you see yourself continuing to develop some more flavors? You want to hone in on a few?
Yeah.
Do you see yourself going into like from drink mixes to drinks? Do you see yourself going into like ancillary products? Would you go into bars? Like I don't know what you see.
Yeah.
Or right now is it just
I totally forgot about this too. So there is a brewery that wants to use these as like ready-made cocktails too.
Amazing.
And I got to tour the brewery 2 months ago or last month, and they have this like whole system set up already to use them. So yeah, maybe going into bars and pitching it as like an idea for a ready-made cocktail for like busier nights so that their bartenders can focus on other stuff. When bars are swamped, this is like a huge problem for them. So having something like ready-made is like a very large selling point for them. I already have a bar that wants to do it, so we'll see.
If it's a bar related to a bookstore or a bookstore winery, there's a few of those now. It feels 100% they should be carrying.
So just there's so many options of where to go with it, and I'm definitely like, I have a list of plans of action to take. But yeah, I'll get the powders in February, and I think definitely like summer will be a huge like drive for it for sure.
This is amazing, Maggie.
It'll be fun. I hope it does. It's already doing well, so I hope it continues to do well.
What would be your advice to other authors who want to go beyond the book like you have this year?
Honestly, just do it. Start taking the steps to do it. Nothing is impossible that doesn't defy the laws of physics. Someone said that. I don't know who. But I think you actually said an article you sent me said something like that. It's like, if it doesn't defy the laws of physics, it's entirely possible. And definitely just ask questions and don't be afraid of being told no and yeah, if you have an idea for something, it's entirely possible to make it come true. Like anything, literally anything. Just post about it on Alibaba and there is someone out there who will make that something. Like it's actually insane how many possibilities we have to bring products to life these days. It's not like it was like 15, even 10 years ago where you need to know all these people. There's a whole marketplace out there dedicated to putting product ideas out there and having people bring them to life. It's actually so much easier than you would think it is. I'm not anything special. You can definitely do it too. So just think big about if you have a romance book, you could maybe do a coffee line of romance stuff.
There's so much.
Like a condom line. Maybe, I don't know. Someone's going to do it and be successful.
Armor.
Yeah, literally, I've been telling people for so long. I'm like, just romance authors, please God, just do it. It's going to be a gold mine or I'm going to do it. I think there's just so many product ideas that you can like.
I'm going to be the ultimate beta tester.
Yes, you will. So many ideas for different genres. You just have to think about like your unique story and what makes sense for your brand. Is it, I don't know, is fantasy like it's unique to your story. So you have to really think about what you can do for your brand. And this just made the most sense for me for my brand. There's an endless list of possibilities.
And I'll announce this here as the first time I'll ever say this. I'm probably going to regret saying this.
Okay.
But we're gonna be doing another Beyond the Book retreat at a castle in Ireland.
Okay. That sounds like fun.
So we did our Barbie House retreat this last week when we brought everyone together to go Beyond the Book. And if you want to be part of that again, we do these things at cost just to have fun and create memories.
It was very fun.
Then there might be a link somewhere down below, or there might not be if I don't have my shit together. Castle in Ireland, Beyond the Book, Castle Edition. And I will be dressed up as a knight at one of these.
In shining armor. With the plot armor.
Potentially, if one of y'all pulls it off, I'll be a knight with plot armor down below. That'd be awesome.
Oh my God.
That's your incentive to then start a brand Beyond the Book. Maggie, this was incredible. Where can we find you and actually get buzzed with some Trope Tales?
I am at tropetails.com, TROPETAILS.com, and I'm also running a Kickstarter currently until November 21st at midnight. So look up Trope Tales, Instant Cheers, and you will find it on Kickstarter. So lots of fun going on there.
Maggie, you are a legend. you are writing yourself into the indie author history and doing something that has not been done before. I hope you all follow her path and chart your own.
Yes.
As we go beyond the book.
Repeatability, average order value. The most important things to remember.
Yes. This is, if you look back at the first podcast beyond the book, we talk about all this. Now she did it. It's amazing. Yes. You rock, our rock star, Maggie. As always, everyone watching, don't forget, together, we are boundless. See y'all soon. All right, that's it for this episode of the podcast. Thank you so much for listening. You can find Kickstarter down below. As I mentioned, it's an amazing Kickstarter. Maggie's an amazing person, and I really hope you support her. Now, I'll say full disclosure that Maggie's now actually a part of the Creatorwood team, which is funny how that's all transpired. We started off as friends, and now we're working together. So I'm very grateful to have her on the Creator team. You learned something in this podcast about the adventures that can happen when you go beyond the book. Me and Maggie just being great friends. It's so cool to see what can happen in less than a year when we both respectively go on our own journeys beyond the book and collaborate and work together along the way. And I think there's going to be some of you in this community listening who do the same thing. With all that said, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And as always, don't forget the new motto at the end of this podcast is storytellers rule the world.